Hello, hello, hello. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are. It's good morning for me. I hope you had a great weekend and are still having a great weekend. So I figured I would stream this morning since I was not able to make a video this week. I've been very, very busy focusing on a couple games that have gotten a bit of publisher interest. So I really wanted to playtest them as much as possible, refine them as much as possible before I followed up with these publishers. So that's been my main top priority. And one of them is a bit of a beast. There's a lot going on, a lot of components. It's a heavier game. I gave myself the design challenge of making a medium weight game. That's what I wanted to make when I set out to, when I started this game. So it is the heaviest game that I have made, complexity wise. And so it does take a while to make updates to it. There's a lot going on. But I'm happy with where it is right now. And this morning, I'm actually going to be updating it while we hang out. I was supposed to playtest it on Friday night. I worked all day on Friday trying to get it done before I left to go see my sister Liz and her husband Rob. And I was able to finish everything, but it took a little bit longer than I hoped it would. And so I left Vancouver left my house at 3:30, and the traffic was so insane that I couldn't actually even make it out of the city. Oh my goodness, I don't know what is going on. I tried looking it up, and all I can see was I didn't see anything major, but could not, barely moved, couldn't even get out of the city. It took me 2 hours to not go very far. I had to just turn around. It was so sad. Let me show you a picture of this traffic. It was insane. This is what the traffic looked like. Just a complete standstill. It was crazy. I sat there for probably 20 minutes, half an hour. These were all these side streets that Google was telling me to go down, telling everyone to go down, and it was just a complete standstill. So I could not get to my sister's house to play test on Friday night, which was very sad. Hey Stacy, how's it going? You having a good weekend so far? So I had the prototype ready to go. I worked my butt off to get it all updated and then couldn't playtest it on Friday night. So it was very sad. But I wasn't able to sticker some of these tokens onto cardboard. This is not necessary, but it will make it a lot easier for players to pick up these tokens. I can show you what I'm talking about. So this is what I'm going to be doing this morning. So if you have a prototype that you want to update while we hang out, this could be a good opportunity. And as always, YouTube, please let me know if you can't hear me. I can double check here actually. Hello, hello, hello. Oh no, looks like you should. Okay. Yeah, we can say Stacy. This is for Book Nook. So I made, and I can actually share my screen to show you how I made all these components in Google Draw if that interests you, but I made all of these little book tokens. So I'll show you one. So it has, you want to focus, bud? No. So it has the cost, and it has the victory points, and it has the number of chapters it takes to read. So I made all of these, and I purposefully printed them on sticker paper with the intention of eventually sticking them onto cardboard so that they're easier to pick up. So that's what I'm going to be doing today. I have a bin of cardboard. So I can show you. It's just a stack of cardboard. This was at one of my previous office jobs. They just had this whole bunch of these cardboard things, and they were just gonna throw them out. And I was like, yoink. So it's just like a whole bin of these. They've been very, very useful. So I am going to be sticking the stickers onto here and then cutting them out. I mean, they're not that thick, but they should be slightly easier to pick up than this one is thicker, actually. So maybe I'll do this one. It'll be slightly easier for players to pick them up. Let me take a look, actually. Ooh. This one is also thicker. Ooh, this one feels a bit sturdier. Let's go with that one. So I'm going to be doing that. Is anyone else going to be working on a prototype today? You have anything that you want to cut out or maybe lay out on your printer or... Oh, put my hand behind it. Okay. Just like the influencers do with their makeup product. Oh, is that kind of working? I don't know. That's why they do that. That annoying, like, this is my mascara. I know, Stacy. Normally, I would not have cut these out and then put them on cardboard and then cut them out again. I would have kept them on the sheet, stuck the sheet to the cardboard, and then cut them out. But because I was running a little low on time on Friday, I cut them out. And I'm like, this is fine. They'll be fine. So I was planning on playtesting with these. So I 100% agree, though. The more efficient way would be to print them all on one sheet, stick the whole sheet in the cardboard, and then cut them out. But it is what it is. It is what it is. Oh, excellent. Stacey's going to be working on her prototype. Anyone in YouTube land want to say hello? I'm chatting with Stacy on Twitch. YouTube it says excellent connection, so hopefully it doesn't give us the runaround today. It's been a little finicky the last couple streams. Nice. What are you going to be updating on your prototype, Stacy? Specifically. But yeah, there's a bunch of stuff I wanted to chat about while I'm doing this as well. I wrote it all down so I wouldn't forget. I played White Castle last night. Has anyone else played that game? It is very cool. It does hurt your brain just a little bit. I feel like I need to play that game with a notebook so then I can plan out my turn. Like, okay, if I go here, then I'll do this. And then I'll go here, and then I'll do this. And then here, and then I'll do this. Because I make all these plans, and then I'm like, okay, wait, what am I doing? There was this very important thing I had to do in step 3, and I don't remember. But it's very cool. So if you haven't heard of White Castle, I can actually show you it rather than talk about it. It is a dice worker placement game. And there's only 9 turns, and you only do 1 action per turn. You have 9 actions. But of course, if you do it well, you'll be doing a lot of stuff with your 1 action. But it's a very sort of tight game in that sense. It can feel like, oh, there's not enough time to do all the things I want to do. Here, let me show you what I'm talking about. Here it is. This is White Castle, if you haven't heard of it. Here it is. Great rating, 8.0. Woo! That is high. very high. But you can see it's a 3.03 out of 5 on Board Game Geek. That is pretty complex. Anything above like a 2.5 is pretty heavy. I'm going to show you, let's find a good picture of the, yeah. So you're basically rolling dice, and then you're putting them on these 3 bridges. You can kind of see, I could get a bit better photo, but you get the idea. There's these 3 bridges, and you put them in ascending order, and then on your turn, you will choose 1 die, and you will put it somewhere over here. These are all the different action spaces you have, and then you'll do that thing. But then ideally, that will then allow you to do another thing, and then another thing, and another thing. And you're essentially trying to get your little people into this castle, and then moving up to the first level, then the second level, then the third level, and also trying to get your like warriors or samurai out here in the training grounds, and they're basically a multiplier of however many people you have in the castle. That's how their scoring works. And then you also have gardeners over by the bridges, and they can give you some stuff. Personally, I have always gone for gardeners. I mean, I've only played the game twice, but I've gone for gardeners both times and have lost both times. You really do have to time it well. You have to do it early because they give you in between round bonuses, but for the better gardeners, you have to pay for those bonuses. And if you haven't planned ahead and remembered to keep some things aside to actually activate that, it can be not so useful, but they are worth endgame victory points. I did a lot better this game last night than I did in my first game. Didn't win still, but improvement. I need to do something. Okay, so Stacy is going to be updating her main player board today. Excellent. Yeah, White Castle. Yeah. Yeah, so Stacy's talking about the expansion Matcha. Gives you 1 more turn. Yeah, me and my friends looked that up last night. So that'll be interesting to see if that feels a bit better, getting just one more turn. Because a lot of people are just like, but the thing is with games, you want players to feel like, if I just had 1 more turn, like you do want players to feel like that. But this game, it feels like I could have had 2, maybe 3 more turns. You know, it might be a bit restrictive in that sense, a bit too much, a bit too short. And this one is a 4 out of 5 weight. So that's interesting. And so it adds a whole tea area at the bottom down here, and then a new set of dice and you have to get a new player board because it has a new resource there. But I would be interested to try that. But now there's even more action spaces to try and wrap your head around. And the thing about this game too is that you see these cards here. Can I zoom in more? Yeah. Okay, great. See these cards here? They're constantly changing. So you might have a plan. You might have a very good plan. But then someone else will go to one of these spaces and take that card. A new card comes out. Now your plan's out the window. New plan. And that can be a little much for me. Just a little bit. So personally, it would be nice if these cards were different every game, but then they stayed where they are for that game. I do really like how they then go on your player mat, and then they go down here. Like I like, and from a design perspective, how that works. From a player perspective, it's a bit chaotic, just because the options change here, and then you put it down here. Now your options change here. So there's a lot of changes happening in the game on the fly that can be a bit overwhelming. So it's like you make a plan and then it's your turn and things have changed. So now you need to make a new plan. So, but I will be very interested to see what sort of things you can do down here, and if that 1 extra turn will help. But now with these even more actions to choose from, it might kind of be the same issue. I don't know. Hey, Susanna! I also find it difficult when your plan has to change. Yeah. So Susanna is over on Twitch. If you want to watch me over on Twitch, that would be cool. I'm at 21 followers, so 22 would be pretty cool. But YouTube or Twitch. But Susanna's saying, I also find it difficult when your plan has to change so abruptly in a game. Yeah. Does anyone else I'm curious if there's anyone watching who enjoys that, who likes the constant changing and variability and have to adapt throughout the game. I don't hate it, but it does happen a bit too often for my liking. But I really, really, really enjoyed the game. Really enjoyed it. It is on Tabletopia. That's where we played last night. Worked great. Stacy thinks that they had the expansion planned right out of the gate. Interesting. Yeah, that's an interesting idea. That's an interesting thought. I've been thinking about that with this game that I need to remember that I'm prototyping. I've been thinking about that, and I'm like, I could start possibly thinking about what an expansion would look like for this game while I'm working on the base game. But I think it was Jamie Stegmaier said this, and I agree that I want to make the best game possible. I want to make the best game possible with everything in it from the jump. And if it does well, and if people want more, I'll figure that out later. Because I don't know, designing a game with an expansion in mind, you're kind of holding things back from the base game, maybe. I'm not sure. How does everyone else feel about people designing base games with expansions already in mind? Yeah, Stacey's saying you definitely want to make the base game solid on its own. So I'm sure you could do both, still making the game as solid as possible on its own, but then also anticipating, making an expansion as well. But as long as the expansion isn't, you're not holding things back from making the base game as awesome as possible, then I think that's all right. Yeah, Stacey doesn't mind it. Does anyone on YouTube land want to say hello? Hello. But anyway, yeah, I played that last night. That was super fun. And yesterday, I also competed in 2 speed puzzling competitions. I did a pairs one, and I did a individual one. And it was super fun. I'm a big puzzle nerd. Are there any other puzzle nerds watching? So this was through a group here in Canada called the Canadian Jigsaw Puzzle Association, and they run online competitions. And so I just signed up. Anyone can sign up. And then I had a friend here in Vancouver who came over, and we did the pairs one, and then we each competed in the individual one. And we finished a 500-piece puzzle in 50 minutes, 5-0, and we got 24th place with that time. The top team finished it in 25 minutes. 500-piece puzzle in 25 minutes. And let me just tell you, this was at 8 a.m. Pacific time. They really did a specific time people dirty with that start time, gotta tell you. But I think we did pretty darn well. Then the individual one, my friend Maria did a 500-piece puzzle. Let me show you these puzzles that we did. I posted this on my Instagram. Actually, I'm going to show you. I took a photo. This was the pairs one. I don't know if you can even see that, but it was basically a farmer's market. There was a bunch of fruits and vegetables and cobblestone and the sky, and it was actually I really liked it. It wasn't too hard. And then the individual one was this. There we go. See that? See that? A whole bunch of quilts. A lot going on. This was a very challenging puzzle. My friend Maria finished in an hour and a half, and I finished right at 2 hours, and 2 hours was the cutoff. The cutoff time. I finished right at 2 hours. So I was like going so fast at the end trying to finish in time. That was fun. I was definitely a bit tired doing the second one. And I didn't sleep at all on the Friday night because I was just worried I would sleep in, and so I just didn't sleep. So, I mean, I slept for like a couple hours, but hey, thank you, Mark, for saying hello on YouTube land. How are you doing? How's your weekend going? Where are you watching from? Right, Susanna? 8 a.m.? It's brutal. Sometimes Ontario people can be a little, they want to make things, well, okay. Apparently their reasoning was, we're going to offer more time options for people. So we're going to do 11 a.m. Eastern, which sounds like a very reasonable time for Toronto people. But that's also 8 a.m. Pacific time. So I guess they just assumed Pacific time people, reasonable people, would just not sign up for that if that was too early for them. Not me. If there's a puzzle competition, I'm signing up for it, and I'll figure out the details later. So they're like, okay, well, we'll offer more times because 9 a.m. They had 9 a.m. Pacific time. They're like, 9 a.m. Pacific time we heard was pretty rough for our Pacific people. So we'll offer a 2 p.m. Eastern start time. So what is that, 11 a.m. Pacific? And then also an 11 a.m. Eastern time that I guess just the Pacific people just won't go to. No, thank you. I want to go to all of them. So hopefully they change that because that was pretty brutal. Like my friend Maria had to come over at 7:30 a.m. before the competition started at 8. I was so tired by the second competition. But it was super fun. Super, super fun. There's just FYI, if speed puzzling interests you at all, the World Speed Puzzling Championships are starting this week. I can show you this. I can show you what I'm talking about. Here, wait. Let me get the website. So they will live stream the World Speed Puzzling Competition. It happens in Spain every September. And I'm like so into this now that I recognize the people and like I know who's the underdog, and but it's really fun. They have individual competitions, pairs and teams of 4. Here, let me show these. Let me show you what I'm talking about. So, happening in 2 days. They have the schedule here, but it is in local time in Spain. I can't remember what city it's in. It's here. Valladolid. Is that how you say that? But there is and anyone can register for this, just FYI. If you want to do this, you can. I feel like that's going to change pretty soon because it's getting pretty popular, and I think they will have qualifiers. Right now, though, anyone can register to compete in the World Jigsaw Puzzle Championships, and they will stream it on their YouTube channel. So you can just Google World Jigsaw Puzzle Championship live stream, and you can watch it. To find the time in your local time, let me find this for you here. This one YouTuber called Karen Puzzles. She's the YouTuber I found and then introduced me to the concept of speed puzzling. She will be there, and she just posted the schedule with different in different time zones. Let me just find it for you here.
You really
times, no. Schedule spreadsheet. No. Okay. So it's in her video.
really think you can get me to like dark chocolate?
Without a doubt.
Won't it taste bitter?
Not this dark chocolate.
Then I can show you what I'm talking about. I don't know if this interests
delicious.
anybody.
I told you it wasn't bitter.
From the Lindt
But
Matra Chocolatier,
I'm
discover
very
new
excited
Excellence Mild.
to
Expect
tune
delicious.
in
This is your time
puzzling.
to not have to choose
And then I signed up for
cool,
2 more
beauty, beast, angel,
So with my time,
devil,
2 hours for the
because
I finished
you
34.
are everything.
Hi everyone.
So I'm not
So-
like, you know, good at
I've been
at it. I mean I'm all right. I'm pretty good, but I'm not like a freaking savant or anything. Okay, so this lady is Karen Puzzles, and this video, in this video, she has
talking about worlds for
here we
like
go.
a
She has
month
this
already.
schedule
But this
in
time
different time
it's
zones.
actually coming up in just a couple days. My
Here.
group
Okay, so that's like, yeah, local time, but then there's Pacific time. So you can just take a screenshot of that, and then she also has Eastern time. Anyway, not sure if that interests anyone, but I am very, very, very excited. So they have monthly puzzle battles at a game shop up the street from me. Looks sort of fun, but I kind of just want to take my time when I'm doing one. The 8 a.m. time stinks, though. Yeah, no, I totally get that. And part of me is kind of like, I kind of wish I had never heard of this speed puzzling thing, because it kind of makes a hobby or an activity that's supposed to be very relaxing a bit stressful. And now when I just do a puzzle for fun, I can find myself wanting to time myself and wanting to see how fast I can do it rather than just, you know, enjoying it. When I'm at my parents' house and we are just doing like a puzzle for fun, then I can just like chill. Like if I'm doing it with other people who are chill about it, I'm still able to do puzzles to relax and have fun mostly. But yeah, I know what you're saying. Like, not everything needs to be a competition. Not everything needs to be like, you know, so fast. But I don't know, I've been enjoying it. Oh, sorry, Stacey. You know what happened is I had my desktop audio on, and then it was the YouTube video I was playing. It was the ad. Whoopsies. I couldn't hear it, but I guess you could hear it. That's weird. But yeah. Oh, sorry. I was just saying, in that video that I was just showing on the Karen Puzzles YouTube channel, you can see the different schedule in different time zones for the World Speed Puzzling Championship, if that interests you. Susanna is working on a quilt right now. It's a great theme for a puzzle. I absolutely agree. If I was just doing it for fun and not like a speed puzzle, I would have really enjoyed it. Well, actually, I really enjoyed it even for a speed puzzle. It was just very challenging to try and do it fast, but I really did like it. It was a really fun picture with fun colors. And what does your quilt have a theme that you're making? One of my friends, Amanda, she makes quilts, and they'll have some sort of theme, usually like a Halloween quilt or whatever. Hey, Andy! You heard the audio too. Yeah, I'm pretty sure that was my desktop audio with the YouTube video playing. There's like the ad and then the video in the background. But I was, yeah. Yeah. Mark, 100%. World Puzzle Championship sounds like a neat background sound tab for work. Yeah. Just having it on in the background because obviously, like, you know, nothing that exciting is happening for the first 20-25 minutes. But then after that, people start finishing their puzzles and it's very exciting. But yeah, it's definitely something you can just have kind of on in the background. I can show you my progress so far on this sticker situation. This is absolutely taking longer than it should have if I hadn't cut these out already. If anyone was not here earlier, basically I wanted to playtest this game on Friday night. It didn't work out. So, because in the interest of time, I just cut these out with the intention of playing the game just with these little pieces of paper. Now that, you know, I have some time, I'm putting them on this thicker cardboard and I'll cut them out just so that they're easier to pick up. Because in my game, you're constantly picking them these tokens up, putting them down. And just on these little thin pieces of paper, I'm pretty sure that would be annoying to pick up. But normally, I would not have cut these out before sticking them on here. I would have just stuck the whole sheet onto here and cut them out. This is taking considerably longer, much more time. Thanks so much, Mark. Thanks for popping in. I appreciate you. Have a good rest of your day. Da, 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 da. I'm using scraps of solid colors across the rainbow to make log cabin blocks. It's a bit of color improv just for fun. Interesting. You'll have to send me a photo when it's done or even in progress. That sounds very cool. Very, very cool. Is anyone else prototyping out there at the moment? Are you making any updates to your game? But anyway, yeah, that's what I did yesterday. I did 2 speed puzzling competitions and then played White Castle. It was a very fun day, but yeah, I was definitely a bit tired, but it's very fun, very, very fun. Oh yeah, one thing I wanted to maybe see what you thought about was possibly streaming on Tuesdays as well as Fridays. Would that interest you? Would you want to hang out on Tuesdays and Fridays? Because sometimes on Fridays I chat, sometimes on Fridays, mostly on Fridays, I'll play a game. And sometimes it's nice just to chat and, you know, do these sorts of things where we're just like prototyping and hanging out. So Fridays would still be game night, but then Tuesday would be just like chatting and maybe prototyping while we chat. Would that interest you? Let me know. But that is something I'm considering. I wouldn't. Well, I guess I could start. I could start this week, but then I would have to miss next week. I'm going to Calgary for a wedding, and so I wouldn't be able to do that next week, so I will be in transit. But maybe starting after that, so like starting in October. But then I will be traveling again December to like I'll be out of my apartment basically December to May. So streaming might not happen. I don't know. It's just something I'm thinking about, but I don't want to like commit to it and do it, you know, half-heartedly. So, or like, you know, not be able to commit to do it every single Tuesday. But Andy, I'm thinking for time, I guess it would make sense to stay consistent with my Friday stream. So I guess 5 p.m. Pacific, 8 p.m. Eastern on Tuesdays. Oh, this is taking forever. I'm very glad I'm doing this with you all right now because otherwise I don't know if I would do it at all. Slightly regretting cutting these all out, but it is what it is. Yeah, so maybe I'll tell you a bit more about how I got how I pitched these games to publishers, how I even got publisher interest in these games in the first place. So I pitched both of these games, so the game that I'm currently prototyping right now, and then a party game, as well as two other games, another strategy game and a trivia game at Gen Con in August, big convention down in Indianapolis. I pitched to two publishers. I reached out to these publishers beforehand to see if I could set up a pitch meeting with them. And the way I was able to even get those contacts, one of them reached out to me on Twitter last year, asking, if I was going to be at Gen Con and if I wanted to set up a meeting. So that one came to me, which was very, very cool. That has never happened. That had never happened before and hasn't happened since. That was very cool. So if you post about the cool stuff that you're doing, it's possible that a publisher might reach out to you. It's pretty rare, but it's possible. That's how I got in with that one. And then the other one, I believe I pitched them at a speed pitch competition and then just kind of got in on their email list. So then I had a direct email to someone there that I could reach out to. So I pitched to them at Gen Con, and both of them showed interest in this game, and one of them showed interest in the party game. The other publishers I pitched to at Gamers Ranch. That was a retreat that I went to in August at Gamers Ranch near St. Louis. And that was organized by Inside Up, Eagle Griffin Games, and why am I completely blanking on the Eagle Griffin Games? Stacy, what was it? Thank you, Queen's Games. Sorry, I'm not like fully functional. I'm not usually up and like doing stuff this early on a Sunday. Thank you, Queen's Games. And so I heard about that opportunity through Board Game Besties, which is a Facebook group that I started for women who make board games. So if you are that, you should join that group on Facebook, and then people are posting different opportunities all the time. Someone posted about that opportunity there, and so anyone who could apply to it. I believe they posted it like a few other places, but Facebook is definitely a good place to hear about these kinds of opportunities. If you're not already part of the Board Game Design Lab Facebook group, join now. There's a lot, like publishers will post in there being like, hey, I'm going to be at this convention if you want to set up a pitch meeting with me, or different opportunities. And then also, of course, connecting with other designers who have design questions and challenges and stuff. So Board Game Design Lab, search it on Facebook. I can put the link in the chat if anyone wants me to do that. So anyway, so at this retreat that I applied for and got in, I was able to pitch to 3 publishers there. Some of them showed interest in this Book Nook game. So those were the different ways that I was able to get publisher interest in this game that I'm prototyping right now. So Stacy's saying I don't have to stay consistent with the streaming. Yeah, I guess so, but I would kind of want to, because like if you kind of expect someone to do it and then they don't, it can be a bit like disappointing, I guess. But yeah, I guess I could do like when I can. I guess when I can is better than nothing, so that's true. The chat feels more like a work time thing, like what you're doing now. Yeah, it would be like, prototyping Tuesdays, maybe we could like update our prototypes together and hang out. That could be fun. You'd find it motivating to work on your game. Well, that would be great. That would be really great. Then that would be kind of, what I would hope to happen is while I'm prototyping and chatting, you can also be prototyping and hanging out, and we can update our games together. Yeah, I think that could be fun. Weren't you working on an app a bit ago? Yes, Andy, thank you for reminding me. I'm going to, that's on my list of things I wanted to chat with you about as well. Oh, I see, Stacy. You meant by I don't have to be consistent, meaning I don't have to stream at the same time both days. Okay. That's fair. I think I still would, just cuz 5 Pacific, 8 Eastern is like a reasonable time for most-ish people in North America. It's so hard to find, but like for me personally, 5 p.m. works on Fridays. Tuesdays, it might be a bit early because I still might be working on like busy recording YouTube or whatever. But no, I don't know. Tuesday during the day and you know what? Actually, Stacey, that's a good point. I could do completely different times because sometimes 5 p.m. Eastern doesn't work for people, in Australia or in the UK or whatever. So I could do daytime stream on Tuesdays. For me, at least, daytime. But that could be evening for someone else. And then I could do an evening for me on Friday nights. Yeah, that's a really good point. Thank you for suggesting that. Hey, Curve Cut, how's it going? Yeah, that ranch, Gamers Ranch, was, oh man, I still, every day I'll just think about that magical place. Just be like, was that real? Thousands of board games on a beautiful lake, this huge house. Just FYI, anyone can rent this place. If you have a family reunion or a wedding or a birthday, whatever, you can just book through their website. And I don't think it was obscenely expensive, especially if you have a big group. You can sleep 20 people. You might have to share a bed with someone, which is a little awkward if you're not close to them or you don't know them. My feedback to them was get bunk beds. Instead of making people sleep in the same bed. It's a bit weird. But yeah. If you get a group of people together, you can rent out the Gamers Ranch and have an amazing time. Honestly, I'm thinking about how I could get back out there because it was so cool. Christine saying, I like the idea of chat and prototype time, but I won't be able to join you all right away. I have a Tuesday class starting next week. Oh, that's exciting though. Can you share what the class is for? You don't have to, but it's always exciting when you start a new class to learn something. That's always exciting. Maybe if I did it during the day, that time could maybe work around your class. But is this on Discord or YouTube? Is what on Discord or YouTube? I can't even remember what I was just talking about. Is what on Discord or YouTube? My brain is not. I'm not shooting off on all cylinders this morning, so you got to give me more information. I need a snoring pod for the other sake. Yeah, I appreciate that. Have you considered getting a CPAP? Just throwing that out there. Maybe you have, but I know that people who get CPAPs, they're just don't snore anymore. And it's pretty amazing for themselves and if they have a partner who doesn't have to deal with hearing that anymore. But, the prototyping nights. Okay, well, first of all, I'm glad to see that YouTube seems to be actually not that laggy. Hallelujah. I didn't change anything, so I don't know why. But the prototyping nights, this would be just like this. So YouTube and Twitch. It would just be me prototyping, you prototyping, and us chatting. And yeah, so it would just be a stream like this. So Susanna saying, I've gotten to visit Gamers Ranch for the day, and it was really magical. The kitchen is amazing for group cooking. The game library was redonkulous. I agree. Like, until you see it, you won't understand, like, how there's just so many games. They have them alphabetized, and they have all on their own shelves. There's just so many games. Like, oh my goodness. And yeah, the kitchen is amazing. Huge, wide open concept kitchen. And so we all took turns cooking meals for each other. It was just so special, and I'm just so grateful that I got to go. So Andy's saying you should have a second picture-in-picture top-down camera showing your workspace/table, even if it's just gluing paper to cardboard. It'd be interesting to watch during prototyping time. Yeah. I was just going to say, should I attempt to do that right now? But I won't subject you to that. I did just get this, but that just made me think, I did just get this sort of arm thing that I can attach to the side of the table. And then I could have my camera or my phone in that, looking down at my desk. Then I would somehow need to get that information into OBS. Okay, right. So then I would need to just have a cord from my phone to my computer, and then yeah, I could make that work. It's a great idea. Thank you, Andy. Yeah, Prototype Tuesdays. Yeah, kind of sounds nice, doesn't it? Prototyping Tuesdays kind of rolls off the tongue. Do you have a hashtag so we can show our prototypes? Do you have a hashtag so we can show our prototypes to everyone? Do you mean a hashtag on Discord? I do not. Either way, I don't. Hey, Carla, how's it going? Yay! Glad you could hang out too. I don't normally stream at this time, but normally I have an edited video posted right now, but was not able to do that this week, so I'm streaming, so I'm glad that time worked out for you. But we were just chatting about possibly streaming on Tuesdays as well, as like a prototyping Tuesday, because right now I'm prototyping and we're just like hanging out, and like might want to do this on a regular basis on Tuesdays, so that would be cool. But Carla was at the Gamers Ranch as well, another designer. I unfortunately was not able to playtest her game, but it's very cool to meet her and all the other designers. I wish we had, maybe just a bit more time to like hang out and get to know everyone more, but it's just the time flew by so quickly, and I wanted to playtest everyone's prototypes, but just not enough time. And then also with all the shiny published board games right there calling out to you, like Stacy saying she didn't have time to play games. It's you can kind of get distracted a little bit by all the published games calling out to you. But glad to see you. I was thinking Instagram. Okay. I don't have like my own hashtag on Instagram, but like whenever I post, I'll just do hashtag prototype and board game design, game design. But we could do like PWGD proto. Well, I mean that sounds like it's one of my prototypes, So, I don't know. I have to think about that. I'm not sure. But definitely in Discord, you can share your... People are always sharing their prototypes in there. If you're not in my Discord yet, the link is in my... I can share it, actually. But the link is in my YouTube bio. But here's a little sticker update. 2 left. And then we're going to start cutting. Very exciting. Let me just quickly share my YouTube... Oh, sorry. Discord link. And it's a great place to share your prototypes that you're working on. Uno momento, por favor. I was listening to a song this morning and I understood a word in Spanish. I was very excited. It was nosotros. And I was like, oh, I know what that means. That means us. Am I right? Like we. Pretty sure. Wait, that's the wrong link. Where's my Discord link? Here we go. Okay, I'm going to paste the Discord link. If you want to share your prototypes, hey robot, how's it going? Here is my Discord link. I'm sharing that in both. Great place to share prototypes that you're working on, especially, yeah, so I guess Prototype Tuesday could maybe be a good hashtag for that. I guess prototype, let's try Prototype Tuesday. If you want to post on Instagram. On Discord, you don't really need to do that, but you could, I guess. I don't really know how hashtags work in Discord. Because normally the hashtag is associated with a certain channel in a server, right? So here we go, friends. Step 1 complete. Very exciting. What's your new game about? So this is about reading books to gain abilities, to build up your engine, to read more books, to buy books, to add them to your shelf. So this is the player mat. I made all of this in Google Draw. I can show you the working file if that interests you. But basically, the different genres of books that you read will let you unlock different abilities. So like if you read 2 thriller books, you can get the page turner ability, which will allow you to read books faster. If you read 2 business books, you can unlock the promotion, so you get more money with the work action. If you read 2 sci-fi books, you can unlock the clone ability, which will allow you to read more books at a time. Everyone starts with being able to read 2 books at a time, but if you get the clone ability, you can get 3 and then 4. And then eventually you'll be adding books to your shelves, and then when you cover up a space, you get that reward. So romance and thriller books are on the top shelf, but you can choose where you put it to get points or to do a free read action or to get another secret objective. You could also get money or an additional action. Those are the different rewards that you can cover up to get. But the placement might... you might decide where to put it based on some, they're called decor goals. So if you have like a cat next to 2 romance novels, you can get, and you're the first one to do it, you can get bonus points. So there's public decor objectives. So that's kind of like where you place things. And then there's also public book club goals. So if you read a certain number of books, you can join book clubs, and the first one to do that gets the most points. Second to do it gets less, and so on. That's pretty much the gist. I can show you the game board as well. There's the game board. Again, did this in Google Draw. So this is the library, and then these books that I'm currently cutting out, will be in these empty spaces here. So they're in a 4-player game. There's 2 romance books, 2 of each genre. In a 2 and 3-player game, there's only 1. And then at the bookstore, these are the books that have the prices and the points. There's going to be stacks in ascending order for each genre. And then there's the different shops, and that's where you can buy the decor items to fill up your shelves. They are worth points, but not as much as books. But there is a bonus for if you fill your shelves first. So that's why decor can be good, and also for the decor goals. And I added this score track around the edge. This is just a table that I added in Google Draw. And then there's a treasure icon around the scoreboard. And when you land or pass on that, you can choose a reward. You can take money, extra action, extra read action. And as I say that out loud, I realize that that's a bit redundant. An extra action or specifically extra read action. So I'll have to think about that. Or points. That's that. Yeah. That's the gist. Hey, Turista. How's it going? Bye, Curve Cut. Thanks for popping in. Hey, Derek. Hey, Zane. Hope you're having a good lunch. I met Derek and Zane IRL at Gen Con. We played Landmarks and did we play Blob Party? Yeah, Blob Party. And we just like hung out. That was really fun. Yeah, Stacy. It looks like I only have one channel in Discord, #general, but that is what I have available for everyone. Members can see quite a few more channels. So just FYI, if you want to see all of the channels, if you become a YouTube member, those get unlocked for you automatically. Thanks, Andy. How long did you noodle the idea around before using the computer as a tool to build your game and player boards? I think I probably did actually, I play tested this digitally pretty early on because I was traveling, and so it was just easier just to make it in Tabletopia kind of from the jump. So yeah, from the beginning, I was making digital assets for this one. Thanks, Christine. I hope you can play it one day. We will see. I'm stoked with how it's coming together. So some of the feedback I got from the publishers when I pitched it to them at the Gamers Ranch and from some playtesters as well, is that I had it where you could place decor and it literally didn't matter. They were just worth points at the end of the game, and it was just fun just to decorate. Some playtesters and publishers felt like they just wanted a bit more intention behind the placement of the decor and wanting it to be a bit more meaningful and a bit more of a puzzle. And so I thought about it a lot because I was just like, should I push back and just be like, it's just for fun, and that's okay. But I was like, let me try it out. And if it's still fun, but also can sort of scratch that itch for people who, gamers who really want their, that to be a really intentional, meaningful decision to make. And I feel like I feel happy with where it is right now. It still feels fun just to decorate and to place things on the shelf. It's not super stressful. You'll always get a reward no matter where you place it. But if you place it in the most ideal arrangement, you could get bonus points for the decor goals. And then now that's when I added all of those rewards when you cover things up. It was actually after playing Distilled. I think I played that with you, Derek, I think, right? Yeah. Me, Derek, and Mark played Distilled. recently. And one of the things is that when you make a spirit, you get a label, and then that label marker covers up a reward. And so you get to choose a reward, and the reward that you cover, you get. And so something just kind of clicked for me when I was thinking about how to make my player mat and the shelves more interesting. I was like, what if maybe when you place your book, you cover something up and then you get that thing, like in Distilled. And so when I added that, I was like, oh, this is cool. This is cool. This is adding sort of that, that additional meaning or whatever that some gamers and publishers were looking for, while still keeping the, main intention of the game of just bringing joy with placing decor and books on your shelves. So I'm happy with how that's coming together. Did you see the 3-minute game guy uses a whiteboard to draw game boards when he's brainstorming a prototype? It's a great idea. Okay, now I have to go. Okay, bye. Yeah, that's a great idea. My only thing about that is then if you're prototyping on a whiteboard, you then lose that unless you take a photo, I guess. But I prefer just to sketch things out on paper and pen, or in my journal or whatever, or digitally, so that I have a record of my progress. But that is a nice quick way to do things as well. Hey Jonathan, how's it going? Oh, so that wasn't you. Who did I play Distilled with? Oh, that's Tony. Tony in the chat. Distilled. I guess I just assumed it was Derek. I will be playtesting with my members in 45 minutes exactly. We playtest every Sunday online. So if that interests you, that's another reason you might want to become a member. So we are playtesting Mark's game today. It sounds very cool. So I have a hard stop here in 45 minutes, maybe like 40 minutes. Susanna's asking if I'm saying a lovely cozy theme. Are you an avid reader? And it's interesting you said the word cozy, because I've been getting that a lot. Like, oh, this is such a cozy theme and a cozy game. And that made me think about, is this a cozy game or is it just a cozy theme? So I've just been looking a bit more into what makes the game cozy according to research or to different people. And it was in one of my playtests, someone said, it feels like there's a lot of abundance in this game. Like there's a ton of books available. Anyone can take out any library book. You get a lot of stuff. It's very sort of, the word abundance kind of stood out to me. I was like, maybe is abundance one of the core elements of a cozy game? So I started looking into it, and I can actually bring up my research. Started looking into it a bit more, because I know especially in the video game space, there's a whole cozy game genre. And I do think that my theme is cozy, especially with, making and decorating your book nook. That just like the physical aspect of being cozy when you're doing a thing, when you're just being cozy to play a video game, or you're feeling cozy to read a book. I do think that my game evokes that. But as far as mechanics go, with the abundance of resources, I can see it being a cozy game. But for a few other things, I'm just not 100% sure, because some people are saying for a game to be cozy, it needs to be like easy to learn, easy to start playing, no analysis paralysis. Where did I write this down? Well, I'll do it from memory. I can't remember. I can't find it in my notes. But like a feeling of relaxation, of simple setup, simple decision making, these sorts of things. No negative player interaction, a feeling of connection, these sorts of things mechanics wise. I need to be cutting while I'm talking. So I'm not 100% sure if it meets the criteria for a cozy game mechanically, but thematically, yes, I agree. Anyway, that was a bit of a tangent. Are you an avid reader? I do enjoy reading, but I don't do it as much as I would like to. I don't know. I feel like maybe my attention span is like seriously damaged. But I always have a reading goal every year, but I'm definitely a slow reader. So I don't finish too many books too quickly. But when I do read, I enjoy it. And I'm like, I should do this more often. And then, I don't know, I get distracted. But I really do enjoy reading when I do it. And I always have on my to-do list to read one chapter of a book. That is always a daily to-do. Whether or not I actually do that is the question. But I do enjoy reading. How about you all? How many books do you try to read like in a year? Not that it's a competition or anything, but just like, just to kind of see. What's my goal this year? I think it's 12, like one per month. That's definitely not going to happen. Let's see what my reading goal this year is. Reading challenge. Yeah, my goal is 12 books. I've read 5. But yeah, how about you all? Nice. Stacy's saying, I love how you always come back to the core vision of the game. You mentioned this as one of your tips, which is now hanging on my wall. Sweet. That's great. Yeah, it's good to always, to not stray too far from like the core concept, the core thing you're trying to achieve with your game, but also not being afraid to, kill your darlings. Nothing is precious. Yeah. Abundance, no take that, no big brain burning plus the theme. Yeah, there is some slight brain burning. Maybe, I don't know, maybe not. It's just more like you get this, now you get this, now you get this. It's not, yeah, I would agree. It's not really brain burning because one of my recent playtesters as well said, I really like all the combos I can do now and stuff, and I did not feel any analysis paralysis. So I'm like, oh, that's perfect. So maybe if it can be cozy theme-wise and mechanics-wise, that would be cool. But like I said, one of my design challenges for the game from the jump was to make a medium weight game. So I don't want to, also, like I said, that can change. Your original hypothesis can change based off the evidence that you gather. Yeah, like Susanna's talking about Calico is deceptively cozy because the theme is so cozy and the gameplay is very crunchy. Yeah, like I wouldn't. So would you say that Calico is like a cozy game then? Just still, like, do you think the theme overrides the mechanics? That it still would be considered a cozy game? Or is it too crunchy to be considered cozy? Yeah. Yeah, Andy, when you have kids, most of your reading is about pigs with figs or something. Count of Monte Cristo is your favorite. Cool. Yeah, what's everyone's favorite book? I love that question. My favorite book is Ready Player One. I've read it 2 times, and I honestly, if I'm in a reading slump, I'll just read that, and then I'll remember how much I love reading. Right now, I am reading the Lord of the Rings trilogy. I read The Hobbit, and I really, really, really loved it. And I'm right in the middle of the first book of the trilogy, and I stopped like in March. And I just haven't picked it back up just because I know it's going to be slow for a bit, and I'm just like, I I mean, I guess I don't know it's going to be slow. I'm just anticipating it's going to be slow. But I shouldn't assume. But I just know they're probably going to it's going to be like 4 pages of them singing. Which I don't mind, but, you know, it can drag just a little bit. But I'm really, really, really enjoying it. In general, I don't know why. I just, you know, when you stop reading something and just find it a little hard to get back into it, that's what I'm finding right now. I read a lot more. Like when I was staying at my parents' house, I read a lot more because they read a lot. They read all the time. And so that really inspired me to read more. And now just, I don't know. I like to keep a book on my coffee table just so it's staring me in the face and I don't forget. But, I don't know, sometimes I just want to do other things or I don't know. But when I do read, I really like it, so I don't know. But anyway, what's everyone's favorite book? When Things Fall Apart and Paralandra. I have never heard of that. Paralandra. Has anyone else heard of... Oh, it's a space trilogy. Oh, I'm also listening to Mistborn. I forgot about that, actually. I don't know, because it's an audiobook. I just forget about it sometimes. I'm listening to Mistborn, Final Empire. Really enjoying it. I completely forgot about that. Thank you, TK, for reminding me, making me think about that with this Paralandra book. It just reminded me of it because it says space trilogy. I don't think Mistborn is is Mistborn a trilogy? I know it's a series, but I don't know if it's a trilogy. Anyway, it made me think of that. So Paralandra, space trilogy of C.S. Lewis set on the planet of Paralandra, or Venus. First published in 1943. Cool. C.S. Lewis. That's, he did Alice in Wonderland, right? Did I just make that up? Oh, no, Chronicles of Narnia. Never mind, sorry. That was a different guy. Cool. I'm going to write that down. I have a list of books to read. Books to read. Paralandra. When Things Fall Apart, I believe I have read that many years ago. Did I? I believe I have. But yeah, that's a good one. Yeah, Tom Bombadil. I have encountered him, and that was interesting. Does he come back, or is it just the first book? Lion, Witch, and the Wardrobe. That's your favorite? Oh no, is that your favorite, or are you just saying that C.S. Lewis wrote that one? Granzer. Lewis Carroll. Okay. Similar names, that's why I mixed it up. Right. That's who is C.S. Okay, thanks. I haven't read The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe, but also prototype update. I'm stoked with how these are coming together. That might not look like much to you. And, okay. But these are a lot thicker. These are a lot easier to pick up than just scraps of paper. So, very excited. Especially I find people who don't have nails struggle a lot with picking up cards. They should not struggle with picking this up. I'm going to try to pick it up with my pinky that doesn't have a nail. Oh yeah, easy. You don't need nails to pick these up. stoked. Very, very, very happy with how this is coming together. I have this much left to cut out. But yeah, what is everyone else's favorite book? Let's see if YouTube is chiming in. Yeah. The Hobbit. Oh, no way, Derek. I loved The Hobbit, honestly. And I have thought about replacing Ready Player One with The Hobbit as my favorite book. I think I would need to read it again to really see if that is true. But I really liked it. I really, really did. So that's cool that it's your favorite book. What did you think? Well, no spoilers, please. I know it's been out for like 80 years, but do you really like the trilogy, the Fellowship trilogy, or is it just The Hobbit? Because I really, really, really liked The Hobbit, and now I'm struggling just a little bit with the pacing of the first book of the trilogy. But yeah, Derek also mentioned Stardew Valley as a cozy video game and board game. I agree. Right. But saying that the video game is cozy for sure, because they just kind of plop you in this world and they don't really you just kind of roam around and do whatever you want to do. It's not like you need to do, it's not like Overcooked, which I downloaded recently, where you need to complete these orders before time is up and you got to go and you got to do this. And like, yeah, very high stress situation. If you want to feel like you work part-time in a very busy kitchen, Overcooked is the game for you. But Stardew Valley video game, like if you haven't played it, you're growing plants and you're fishing and you're just kind of, to be honest, I feel a bit lost playing the game. I'm like, what am I supposed to be doing? But I guess that's kind of the point. Like, you figure it out. I'm sure stuff happens, but right now I'm just kind of like, I've tried playing it a few times, so I'm just kind of like, what's the point of this? It might be a bit slow for me, but the board game I really enjoy. I've played it with Derek. I own it now. I have played it solo, and I really like it. There is a lot going on, and it can be, slightly stressful, but I would say it would fall into that cozy category. Well, actually, no, it's not an easy setup, and it's not an easy teach, so I'm not sure. Not quite sure, but cozy theme for sure. Oh, okay, so Derek's favorite book is The Hobbit, but he hasn't read the trilogy. I don't know why, like, YouTube covers up like the little part of the chat. I can't see the full message, but I think it just there we go. Okay, I haven't actually read the trilogy books, but would like to eventually. Okay, so that's interesting. So maybe it's okay. Well, I own all 3 books. I am going to read all 3 books, but I guess I'm just finding it a little hard to get back into it. Just a little bit. Yeah, Andy, I did hear that because I was talking with my friends last night about Alice in Wonderland, and my friend Rachel said that the book is actually, pretty interesting, but definitely a mind bender for sure. But yeah, because I was saying that Alice in Wonderland is my favorite Disney movie. Okay, it starts with the magician's nephew. You're talking about the Lion Witch in the Wardrobe? Let me see here. What was it? Magician's nephew. Magician's nephew. Okay, yeah, C.S. Lewis. A Portal Fantasy Chronicles of... Okay, it was the 6th published of 7 novels, but you're saying that you should read that you should read that first. Even though it's the 6th book, you would read that first. That's interesting. That's what I'm hearing people say that about like Brandon Sanderson books. Like, I'm just getting into Mistborn, but I've heard that people are like, okay, no, if you're getting into the Brandon Sanderson universe, you need to read it in this order. I haven't looked into that yet because I'm just focusing on just listening to this first book, see if I like it. So far, I really like it. So I might go down the Brandon Sanderson rabbit hole and like see what order I should read the next ones in. But that's interesting that you think that start with Magician's Nephew. I haven't read any of the Chronicles of Narnia books, so that would be cool. I should do a version of my game of full-size books. The game could be packaged in a crate. Yeah, that would be... Oh, that would be so fun. Can you imagine? Because you know they do like life-size versions of games at Gen Con and stuff. They could do one with actual books with my game. That would be fun. And Susanna's favorite book is Moby Dick. Wow, you all have some very cool, you like classics. That's very cool. A lot of people, you know, there's a lot of cult of the new and like, oh, my favorite book just came out or whatever. So I like how you're naming classics. That's really cool. I had an amazing professor in college who taught it with such passion that I really got into it. And I've reread it 3 times since then. Yeah, that's really cool. I think the sign to tell you if a book might be your favorite is if you have read it more than once. That told me, okay, Ready Player One is our favorite book because we have read it twice and I would read it again. But yeah, also having like a teacher be really passionate about it, that definitely helps for sure. I can see that. That's really cool. I have not read Moby Dick. For the classics, I've read like Huckleberry Finn, Three Musketeers. That was a bit of a slog. I'm sure there are others that I'm forgetting. I agree with Stardew. It's an excellent game, but I need a little more linear hand-holding. The possibilities get a bit overwhelming, but I totally understand why it's praised. Yeah, it seems like Stardew Valley, the board game, has a bit of mixed reviews. I really enjoy it, especially for a solo game. I found it really enjoyable. And like, it was my first and only solo board game experience IRL. Obviously, I play a lot of solo games online on Friday night game night, but you know, I'm also chatting with all of you while I'm doing that. So like an actual, just like taking a game out, playing a board game on my own. I've only done that with Stardew, and I really, really enjoyed it. The mining annoys me. It's very difficult to get what you need from the mine, but I think I was maybe playing it slightly wrong. Yeah, games on the brain for sure. Always games. Bye, Andy. Thanks so much for popping in. That was awesome to hang out. Hope you have a great rest of your day. Yeah, I see what you're saying, TK. So Magician's Nephew is the first chronologically and add some context to the Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe. I might also remove just a little of the sense of wonder. Oh, so maybe you don't want to read it first if it removes some sense of the wonder. Interesting. Demi Shadow saying, I've read Lords of the Rings so many times in my life that now I'm revisiting it on Audible. Very cool. Andy Serkis does the new narrations. I played a very cozy TTRPG last night called Yazuba's Bed and Breakfast. Let's look that up. Yazuba's. I am really starting to get into like exploring, dipping my toe into RPGs, I have some friends coming over in a couple weeks to play Alice is Missing. That's this RPG where you're just texting each other and you're trying to like find your friend Alice who is missing. What was it? It was Yazba's Bed and Breakfast. This might not be on BGG. No. Okay, let me just Google it. Yazba's Bed and Breakfast. Oh. Is it based off a book? A book is coming up when I Google it. Oh no, it's a... Here, I'll show you what I'm looking at here. Love the art. Welcome to Yazba's Bed and Breakfast, a slice of life tabletop RPG about a heartless witch, a peaceful house, and all the folks who have made their home inside. Yazba's Bed and Breakfast is a very special game. It uses preset characters, quick play chapters, and an adaptable rule set. Unlike anything else out there, it takes less than half an hour to learn how to play and get started. But with new chapters and secrets to unlock, folks can stick with the game for years and years. Cool. That's fun. I'm going to add this to games to play. Yazba's Bed and Breakfast. Sounds very cool. Yeah, I'm trying to get... So these friends that are coming over to play Alice is Missing, I'm hoping they'll become my RPG gaming group. And we can play all different kinds of RPGs. Because there's just so many cool games out there. RPGs specifically. And like, I've only played a few. Like, I've played Fiasco, Dungeons and Dragons, and then like the Parsley system, which is not really like, it's kind of, yeah, it's like role-playing system. But this looks very, very cool. Thank you for letting me know about this. I will look into that. Did you enjoy it? Did you have a good time playing it? So Derek is in the middle of reading through the Narnia series right now, and we read Magician's Nephew first. There you go, TK. We are on the 4th book now, Prince Caspian. Cool. Add that to Chronicles of Narnia. Start with Magician's Nephew. So many books to read. So little time. Okay, so Stacy has played Alice is Missing as well and played it, had a great time. There can be some slight quarterbacking, which is interesting. Cool. Yeah, I don't know a ton about it besides the fact that you are texting each other rather than talking. So, but I've heard really, really great things about it. So I'm excited to try it out. Cool, TK. Yeah, I will definitely. I am realizing more and more just how much I really love fantasy books. Which, yeah, Chronicles of Narnia is, would you be, yeah, fantasy, portal fantasy specifically. But I'm finding I really, really love fantasy, the fantasy genre. There's just so many books to read. Oh my goodness. So I'm excited to, I've added it to my list. But right now I'm focusing on Mistborn. Audiobook. Yeah. Just time check here. So I can probably hang out for another 10 minutes or so. I need to focus on cutting these. But thanks so much everyone for chatting and hanging out. I mean, I'm not saying goodbye. I'm just saying thank you for keeping me company while I prototype. But yeah, prototyping Tuesdays, I think that would be fun. So I might see you in a couple days. And then that will also, encourage me to always be prototyping, which I am, but speaking of old books, my favorite is still Strugatsky's Roadside Picnic. It's an old sci-fi story. The Stalker movie and games are based on it. I've read it so many times, worth checking out. All right. Roadside Picnic. I have not heard of this one. Has anyone else heard of this one? Roadside Picnic. Philosophical science fiction novel. Cool. Oh, I guess I should show you what I'm looking at. Sorry. Roadside Picnic, philosophical science fiction novel by Soviet Russian authors Arkady and Boris Strugatsky. So it's by two brothers. So they co-wrote this, which is very interesting. You don't see too many novels that are written by two people. That's cool. Written in 1971, published in 1972, is the brothers' most popular and most widely translated novel outside the former Soviet Union. Okay, the story. No, what is it about? Setting plot. The novel is set in a post-visitation world where there are now 6 zones known on Earth that are full of unexplained phenomena and where strange happenings have briefly occurred, assumed to have been visitations by aliens. Governments and the United Nations, fearful of unforeseen consequences, try to keep tight control over them to prevent leakage of artifacts from the zones. A subculture of stalkers, and so I guess that's what there's a movie called Stalker. Scavengers who go into the zones to steal the artifacts for profit has evolved around the zones. The novel is set in and around a specific zone in Harmont, a fictitious town in an unspecified English-speaking country, and follows the protagonist over the course of 8 years. Very cool. Very cool. So let me write that down. I'm very good at making lists for things. Whether or not I actually do the things on the list is another question. But Roadside Picnic. Sci-fi. I did a writing challenge recently that was write a story in 100 words or less, which is, as you can imagine, very, very difficult. And my genre was sci-fi. And I had to look up, what's the difference between sci-fi and fantasy? And now I can't remember, but let's see. Go away. Thank you. The key elements of science fiction embrace advanced technology such as time travel or space travel and or a dystopian setting where society embodies grave injustices or suffering. Right. And then fantasy just deals with the impossible. Unlike science fiction, fantasy deals with the impossible. Think magic and the supernatural. As such, it's firmly rooted in the imagination rather than in science and natural laws. Okay, so yeah, science fiction is like, this could theoretically happen. And fantasy is like, no, this IRL would never actually happen. So I guess Ready Player One is sci-fi, right? So I guess my favorite book is sci-fi. My favorite genre is fantasy, but my favorite book is science fiction. It's interesting. Yeah, science fiction. Anyway, I keep getting distracted. I need to Well, not distracted. We're chatting and hanging out. It's great, but I do need to cut these in 5 minutes. Okay, I'm going to write down that RPG recommendation for Mouse Guard / Torchbearer in a moment when I finish cutting these things. One sci-fi book I enjoyed many years ago was called Oryx and Crake. I don't know if anyone's heard of that one by Margaret Atwood. I remember thinking it was really cool, but that was a long time ago, so I don't remember too much about it, but I do remember enjoying it a lot. So a dystopian future. So would you say that Handmaid's Tale is the sci-fi? Let me look at my list of any of the other things I wanted to mention before I have to head out. Oh, yeah. Oh, shoot. Andy's gone, and I forgot to answer this question when he was still here. But he was asking about my mobile app that I was working on. And so, yeah, it's a mobile game. I do have an idea for an app, and I would like to do that as well. But I have been working on a mobile game with a developer who knows how to actually code. And I'm actually really stoked with how our game is coming together. So I'm doing the game design and the playtesting, the marketing, project management, and whatnot, and then she's like coding it. And I'm starting to look into the visual design and the sound design and stuff like that. It might actually not even be any sound design, but I've just been kind of exploring what assets there are that we could get to add to the game. Anyway, I'm very excited with how that is coming together. So it's a very simple mobile game. It's a word game. But I have the goal of making a better game / maybe game bundle than the New York Times, which have Wordle, Strands, Connections, Spelling Bee, and like a few other ones. And I saw a job posting for being the games director at New York Times. And I was just like, that is like my dream job. Live in New York and make games for the New York Times. And I honestly thought about applying. But I was like, I don't want to leave Vancouver and my family and like, I don't know. I didn't apply for it. But I was like, you know what? I also just don't want to work for anyone else ever again in my life. And so I have the goal now of making better games on my own than I would have if I had got the job at the New York Times as the games director or whatever the job was. But anyway, so I am hoping that this game is better than any of the New York Times word games. And I'm stoked with how it's coming together. I'm not saying it is. I'm saying that I hope that people feel that way. And, we are playtesting it as we go along, taking playtesters' feedback and making sure that there is strong interest before we continue to invest any more time or energy into it. But from just a player standpoint, we are getting that positive reinforcement. That's why we've continued with this one. We tried out a few other ideas and just we're not getting the traction, or we found that the game already existed. This one, we're getting very positive feedback, and I have not found a game like this online. So yeah, so basically I'm excited with how it's coming together. It's still, in the rough prototype stage, but once we get the gameplay solidified, and it's feeling pretty close, we'll then make it look all pretty and everything. But we will be sending out a link to Itch, to the game on Itch. Tomorrow, we have an email list for playtesters for the game. I will quickly share that link in a second here to sign up to our email list if you want that. But I will also be sending it to my newsletter on Tuesday or Wednesday. But before I forget, let me send that out. So yeah, we have it on Itch. We have the demo on Itch. We're going to be sending that out to playtesters this week. Hopefully the feedback is overwhelmingly positive and there's not a ton of suggestions or feedback, of course. I mean, we'll see what happens, but ideally everyone's like, love it. It's great. Don't need to change anything. Yeah. But I do feel like it's heading in the right direction. But before I forget, I need to get this. I want to get this MailChimp email sign up link for if you want to get the link to test the mobile game this week. So let me just get this before I have to sign off here. Just 1 second. This. No, why do you do that? This one. Yes. Okay, there we go. Okay, let me just grab this really quick. Okay, here we go. Here is the link if you want to join. So this is Ari is the name of my development partner. It says Pam and Ari Games email list. Hey, Susanna! Yay! Join as a member. That's so awesome. This is Pam and Ari Games email list. Okay. That's so cool. And that's the first time that someone's joined as a member during a stream. So that's so cool to see. Let me take a photo of that. Woo! We did it, friends. We did it. We have cardboard backed tokens now for the game, so that's very exciting. Thank you so much, everyone, for hanging out. Yeah, I'm glad you saw it too, Susanna. That was awesome. I'm glad you got to hang out. Thank you, Stacy. Okay, make sure I didn't miss anything else on YouTube. I don't think I did. Okay, awesome. I'm all caught up. So thank you again, everyone, so much for hanging out. That was super fun. And yeah, maybe I will see you on Tuesday. If not, definitely on Friday. And I will do my best to get a video next Sunday as well. But I hope you have a great rest of your Sunday and a great rest of your day. All right, everyone.